Hello, everybody. It is the American Doofus Show. Don't be a doofus. I'm your host, Barry Welsh. Please subscribe, like, and share, and consider being a member of the Do Crew, the supporters of the show, and help us to continue doing what we're doing. The title of the episode is A Dangerous Weekend with a question mark. Are we heading into a dangerous weekend? Potentially we are. If you support one person over the Constitution, if you support one person over the entire country, then you're not a patriot. You're a fanatic. The question becomes, are you a dangerous one? It's okay to be a fanatic. It's okay to be a fan. That's where fan comes from fanatic. But are you a dangerous one? Are you going to be willing to die for Donald J. Trump? Who you follow says more about you than it does about them. They are who they are. You have chosen to follow them. You have chosen to follow that person. And that says more about you than it does about the person you follow. Because if nobody listened, if nobody followed, he would be wandering aimlessly, saying lies. But incredibly smart people can be ignorant. And there are a lot of people that are ignorant to the behavior, to the lies, to the absurdities of the current president of the United States. Going all the way back to 2016, when he said there was incredible voter fraud in an election that he had won. Now he's saying there's incredible voter fraud. Well, if there's voter fraud, then why did Republicans do so well? The Republican Party had a fantastic election night, just not Donald Trump. There's a difference between Republicans and Trumpers. I've said this since 2016. There are Republicans who fervently believe in the idea of conservatism and the idea of unlimited capitalism, of small government, of all these things that conservatives are supposed to be about. But they don't believe everything Donald J. Trump says. There's a difference between Trumpers and Republicans. Republicans had a great night Tuesday night. They won seats in the House. They held the Senate seats. They picked up a governorship. They picked up state representative races all throughout the country. They swept Indiana, basically. Just not Donald J. Trump. Republicans had a great night all across the country. Just not the president. Ignorance is dangerous. No matter how smart you are, if you're ignorant on something, that's a danger. A closed mind is more dangerous than an unopened parachute. There's always a chance you get that parachute open. Keep your mind closed, especially when you're following someone and you can't see their flaws, you can't see the inconsistencies, you can't see the untruths. That's incredibly dangerous and potentially dangerous to you. Who you follow says more about you than it does about the person you're following. So why is it potentially dangerous? Well, for one, Fox News, and it's not news. You can't call them Fox News anymore. It's Fox Broadcasting, because basically they are saying, they put out a memo, and it was leaked all around the internet. Fox News will not call Joe Biden president-elect once they call him the winner of the election, in deference to the current president's bogus legal claims. And I say bogus because the best Republican election lawyers in the country are saying it's bogus. The only people that are questioning, the only people that say fraud, the only people that say cheat are the ones that are so lined up behind Donald Trump that they don't believe anything else. If it doesn't come from Donald Trump, it's fake. And that is ignorant and it's dangerous. And I'm not saying it's you, but if it is you, open your mind up just a little bit. Is it possible that you've been following somebody that's been lying to you for the past 50 years of his life? Yes, it is. And yes, you are. Open your eyes, open your mind. Who you follow says more about you than it does about them. Police departments were lined up behind Trump. Trump's going to lose. Does that mean police departments going to lose? Possibly. Does that mean police officers are going to be more aggressive now that that loss seems like it's inevitable? It seems like that might have been happening over the past few nights with the number of arrests, the number of incidents. Thus far, everything's peaceful, and I pray and I hope and I desire that everything stays peaceful. That is probably going to depend on the Trumpers. That's why I'm talking to you, Trumpers. Stand down. Let the election results be the results. Republicans control a whole lot of this country. They have nothing to complain about. Trumpers, open your minds. Stand down. Donald Trump is not worth dying for. Donald Trump is not America. Donald Trump is not you. And chances are Donald Trump could give two shits about you. It's about him. Get that through your heads. Start getting that through your heads. It's not about you. It's about him. It's always been about him. It's about his ego. He called Joe Biden the worst candidate in presidential history. Now, he just got beat. It's not official yet, but he got beat by the worst candidate in presidential history in his mind. So he's going to be pissed. Now, are you going to follow him or are you going to be an American? Let's hope you're an American. It's Friday. The election results aren't final. I expect them to be final this afternoon or this evening. And if that's the case, I'll be back on here live tonight. Otherwise, I'll talk to you soon. I love you all. I fear for our democracy. I fear for potential targets. All the political leaders, every political leader is now going to be a target. Judges are going to be targets if there is an uprising. All organizational leaders are going to be targets. Media will be targets. Judges, police officers. That's just the beginning. And let's hope it never gets to a beginning. But if it does, and we've been talking about this for months, it's going to get bad, and it's going to get bad for everybody. And it's going to cost us all. It may not cost all of us our lives, but it will cost us all. So stand down. Let democracy do its thing. And our show's not going to end no matter who the president is, because we are still going to have to work for freedom. We're still going to have to work for equality. We're still going to have to work for justice. Because just because the White House resident changes doesn't mean our country changes in the way that many of us want to see it change. It doesn't mean that happens. We have to fight. We have to hold people accountable. I said in the panel show the other night that the Democrat, two things can be true at the same time. A Democrat is about to win the presidency, but the Democratic label is so toxic in so many areas of the country, and that's dangerous because there's no way of holding the Republican Party accountable when a party of opposition doesn't even exist. And that's the way it is in many areas of this country. The Democrat label is so toxic that there is no challenge to someone who calls themselves a Republican. And that's dangerous. And we need to talk about that. We started talking about that, talking about putting a party together that truly represents average people, not the elite, not the millionaire, billionaire overlord class that both political parties right now answer to, because I believe they do. I don't think there's a whole lot of difference, especially when you get into the federal level. There's not a whole lot of difference between Republicans and Democrats for the most part. Certain individuals, yes, but for the most part, they all get their money from the same groups. The same groups fund both parties to make sure that they've got some say no matter who wins. We all know that. It's time for that to change. It's past time for that to change. Can we make that happen? I don't know. That's for another topic. Right now, we need to get through this weekend. So stand down. Donald Trump is not worth dying for. Maybe the country of America is. Maybe the idea of America is. Donald Trump's not. Joe Biden's not. So don't be stupid. Don't be a doofus. Realize that you've probably got a pretty good life, no matter who the president of the United States is. Could it be better? Absolutely. Especially if you're in a community of color. And we got to continue to work on those things, because when it all is said and done, it will be the communities of color that handed Joe Biden the keys to the White House. Now, is our country just going to ignore that fact? Or is our country finally going to go, we got to make some changes. We got to make some changes. We've got to ensure freedom. We've got to ensure equality. We've got to ensure justice. That's my hope. And my hope is that with Biden in the White House, it's a little bit easier, but it's not going to be a given. We are going to continue to talk about these things. We're going to continue to fight for these things. We're going to continue to grow this program. We're going to continue to have opposing voices on. We're going to continue to do everything we've been doing for the past several months. We're going to continue to talk about the militias. Is there going to be a militia that stands up and says, we're not going to let you take Donald Trump out of the White House? Is there going to be a militia that stands up and says, we're going to make sure Joe Biden goes into the White House? I hope not. I hope neither one of those things happen. I hope through law, I hope through common sense, I hope through will of the people, that we have a peaceful transition in the top executive branch of our country, just as we will have peaceful transitions when Republicans take House seats, when Republicans take a governorship, when Republicans take state houses. All that's going to be peaceful. It's now down to the Trumpers. Are you going to be peaceful? Are you going to be responsible? Are you going to be patriotic? Or are you going to be fanatic and a dangerous one? Time will tell. I love you all. I thank you all. I ask you all again to subscribe, like, and share. And depending on how the day unfolds, it's Friday night at 9 o'clock. We might have a Friday night live, just depending on how things unfold today. If there's not a result today, if there's not potential violence today, gosh, what a great thing that would be. It's a potentially dangerous weekend. It's up to us to make sure it's not a dangerous weekend. It's just a transfer. I hope we can do that. I hope we can act as Americans and not as fanatics. Love you all. I thank you all. I wish you all nothing but peace, love, And until next time, don't be a doofus.